gave her divorce papers. I am livid. The only person I have been intimate with within the past 5 years has been my wife. I thought I had a bladder infection or UTI and scoffed when my doctor thought it was chlamydia. Well, here we are. I got the test results yesterday, and I have chlamydia. Decided to start snooping, and it didn't take long to find the text messages between her and her boy toy. My guess is she doesn't even know she had it as well. She thinks I stayed up all night working, but little does she know I've already emailed her little lover boy's wife all the text messages. I warned the lover boy's wife that he's been sleeping with an infected woman and to get herself tested. I'm still deciding how to process this all, but wifey's going to wake up to my positive test results and the messages of her infidelity. The sun should be coming up in the next hour or two, and probably will be the end of this marriage. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. You should just casually drop his name over coffee. So, I was thinking you should probably tell John he has chlamydia. John has probably been sleeping with more than just his own wife and OP's wife. Or OP's wife has. But yeah, STDs don't happen in a closed system. Man, I'm sorry for you. Wish you the best in the future without a cheating wife. Keep records. Stay calm. Find a ruthless attorney. Divorce this nasty witch. OP, please read. Depending on the state you are in, this could save you piles of money in alimony. Do not tell your wife if you can stand it. Get an attorney as soon as possible. I think by now it's too late. The boyfriend's wife will likely confront her husband, who will in turn message OP's wife about it. Had he not emailed the wife, he could have kept the information on the down low until speaking to an attorney. As it goes, the cat's out of the bag now, unless boyfriend's wife and OP conspire together, but that probably would have had to have been in the original email. OP absolutely did the right thing in contacting the boyfriend's wife. My comment was directed at the above comment telling OP to contact a lawyer before his wife finds out he knows about the affair. I was pointing out that it's likely that she would find out through the affair line before OP would have the chance to get a lawyer. I'm not sure about your wife's personality, but I would record what happens and also try to get any cash assets she may have access to out of the bank. I had something similar to this happen 2 years ago, and when I went to confront her about it, she tried to flip the script and play victim. In my case, she even went as far as to claim I was being physically aggressive and called the police. Luckily, the police had my cousin's first-hand account of what really happened, and the video of me confronting her with no physical aggression. Eventually, I had her removed from my home and never lost a penny. Yeah, going to record everything. We have a separate account so my money is safe. The house is my parents' so I'm not worried about in property because we don't own any together. Might want to grab an old phone or something and toss it in the corner if you don't have security cams inside, just in case. Especially if the property isn't in your name. So not only did she cheat, not only did she give you an STI, but just to ice the cake she was warned about said STI and didn't have the bottle to tell you that your health was at risk. I wouldn't wait for the sun to come up. I may need to rephrase. I don't think she or her boy toy even knows she's infected. I found her lover boy's wife on Facebook and got her personal email from there. I have a strong feeling he's not the only one she's been spreading her legs for, so I sent her an email with all the proof I found and a warning to her that I tested positive and that if her husband thinks he's clean, that she needs to get tested yesterday. Now for the first update. I'll make a longer update eventually. I didn't confront her that morning. Boy Toy's wife ended up responding to me, and she has not confronted her husband yet either. I'm getting my legal bases covered first. Now for the full update 3 months later. My last post got an unexpected amount of attention. I guess you guys do deserve an update. The short of what happened was, my wife gave me chlamydia. I found out she was sleeping with a co-worker and planned to blow our marriage up that night. Thankfully, my drunken mind decided to wait. I had gotten into contact with the co-worker's wife, giving her evidence of what was going on and informing her that the two cheaters probably both had chlamydia. I did this because I suspected my wife was cheating with more than one person. In her texts, her lover boy had asked her if he was the only one she was screwing at the time, and she gave a non-answer. I know this dumb broad well enough that I knew she was screwing someone else as well. Luckily, the co-worker's wife got back to me first thing in the morning to explain that she figured he was seeing someone else. The two of them were privately separated at the time, and their separation agreement stated they were not to see anyone else at the time. She had her own suspicions and thanked me for reaching out. We agreed that she would not confront her husband until I could cover my own butt legally, in exchange for the evidence I had of their affair together. She also confirmed to me that her husband didn't have chlamydia, at least when they were still together. I decided to not confront my wife that morning, I pretended everything was fine and dandy while I looked for lawyers and dug deeper to figure out the mystery of the chlamydia caper. I installed a keylogger on my wife's personal PC and quickly got access to a secret email, where guess what? My wife was talking with someone on a hookup website. The best part was that it solved the mystery, as the man informed her he tested positive for chlamydia and that she probably had it. Even better, these emails were from months before I was infected myself, meaning she knowingly infected me with chlamydia. Disappointed that it was not in fact the chlamydia fairy that caused all this, I got a lawyer. It's not looking well for my soon-to-be ex. The fact she knowingly infected me made my lawyer salivate, along with the mountain of proof of her infidelity. The house we live in is my parents', and we've kept our finances separate since the beginning. Her chances of getting much, if anything, out of me is pretty slim. I served her the divorce papers last month. I bought a security camera on Amazon when this all started, saying I was going to put it over our front door. I hid it in the living room the morning I decided to confront her. I decided to take one of the top comments from my first post on how to drop this on her. We were sitting and having breakfast when I said, "So I'm curious. Does Boy Toy know you infected him with chlamydia as well?" The short of it was, she cried, apologized, tried to claim it was a one-time thing, and I brought up that this was her second affair. Tried to claim she loved me, tried to blame me, screamed at me that I don't make her feel loved, yada yada, you get it. I served her the divorce papers and her eviction notice right after. I'm staying with my parents until she's out of the house in a few weeks just to be safe. I'm juggling if I want to try and press assault charges against her for knowingly infecting me with the STD, as my lawyer said it should be pretty easy to prove with the emails we have. Overall though, I just want her out of my life, like the STD she is. Not feeling loved. The title of every cheater's journal. I didn't feel loved. You should feel bad for me. You pushed me to this. Such utter BS. If the victims didn't love cheaters enough, then the cheaters should have just left. I was married once. My ex-husband had an affair, and when I asked him why, he said, "You never ask me how my day is, it's like you don't care." I made him breakfast every morning and he never ate with me. He would let it sit and go cold and eat after I left the table. I'd pack his lunch every day before I left for work. When I got home from work, I would make us dinner that I ate alone. I went to bed alone and woke up alone. You know why I never asked him how his day was? I never asked him about his day because he had zero interaction with me. I was the breadwinner and he was part-time, but I still paid all the bills. He contributed $0 for the entirety of our marriage. If he wasn't working, he was at friends' houses or would play video games until he fell asleep on the couch. I did not exist to him outside of the bedroom, but me not asking him about his day was his excuse. The worst part of this is that she knowingly infected him with an STD. That's just such a nasty thing to do, and especially to somebody you supposedly loved enough to marry. Especially one that makes you infertile if you leave it untreated long term. OP is lucky it wasn't symptomless and found out. I wonder if she immediately got treatment and figured he was fine since he hadn't complained, so didn't say anything and thought she got away with it. I knew someone once who cheated on her husband, and if she was on treatment for something, she would make sure her husband was on the same treatment and say it was just for something minor she might pass to him, so just to take it to be sure. And they just went along with it. I really hope he presses charges. Knowingly infecting someone with an STD is evil. He can try to press charges. It'll be up to the DA or prosecutor whether to pursue that, in most jurisdictions. Cheaters deserve the absolute worst. You don't love your partner anymore. That's fine, you can split or divorce, but don't become a cheating pig. It's just very selfish. Cheaters will always stay the same. Now for the last story. Thought my fiancé was cheating and got an accidental confession. Planning my out. I am still in shock and anger, so please excuse this if the post isn't clear. A couple months ago I came home from work. I worked the night shift, and when I got into bed, I ended up laying on my fiancé's phone. When I picked it up, it lit up with a text message across it from an unknown number, and it read, "I can keep a secret," with a wink emoji. I unlocked the phone and saw that was the only message, so I decided to not say anything and keep note of it. A week later, the intimacy just dried up. Zero affection, zero intimacy. She was no longer initiating in anything, and any time I would initiate, she would act annoyed or just roll over like she just wanted to get it over with. I tried multiple times to get her to communicate and figure out what was wrong, but she played it off like nothing was wrong. So completely annoyed, frustrated, hurt, and feeling inadequate, that I decided to not initiate in any affection or intimacy to see how long it would be before she would make a move. Well, that proceeded for 3 weeks. Laying in bed next to her was the hardest thing. trying to understand what was going on and wondering what I did wrong to have this happen. I ended up trying to do more for the relationship, and it proved useless. She didn't even notice. Cleaning dishes, laundry, cleaning her car, and fixing her car, dinner, trying to spend time together. I woke up yesterday and just had enough. Aggravated and frustrated, I started avoiding her and just left for work without saying anything to her. She actually noticed that. She tried calling and I ignored it. She texted and I didn't answer. It was when she texted me later that night about how she got home fine from work and had a good day, and she didn't call me on her way home because I didn't seem to want anything to do with her today. I replied back, I guess we both share mutual feelings then. This resulted in her calling me angry, and I let it out that she has been completely distant and non-affectionate. She resulted in calling me a child and hung up and turned her phone off. I'm not going to lie, I was furious. When I got home late that night, I went into the bedroom and saw she wasn't in there. She had moved into the spare bedroom. I walked in and took her phone on the nightstand and her work phone, and locked myself into the bathroom and went through her phone. I noticed a text exchange between her and her best friend where she was bashing me and making fun of me. I ended up texting her, "So glad you have been lying to me, and I've wasted my time with you if you really feel that way." The next morning, she woke me up mad that I took the keys to my car and truck, which resulted in an argument, and I just yelled out, "Do you even understand why I'm upset with you?" She replies, "Yes, because you found out I went on a date with Chris, my coworker." My mouth dropped and I said, "Wow, I had zero idea of this, so glad you told me now." I got up and walked out, and haven't been back to the house since. I came into work to get my mind off of everything. She keeps trying to call and text me saying that nothing happened. It was just a coffee date. I don't believe that. My gut is telling me a lot more. I don't know what to do from here. My brain is in a fog and I'm not thinking clearly. I want to go scorched earth. Now for the top advice. Do you rent together? I own the house. You are a better man than me. She would have been kicked out already. We have 2 children together and she can't afford her own place. That's the only reason I haven't yet. I want to be clear-headed and calculated when I plan to completely blow her world up. So she's cheating on you. The fact this dude told her he can keep a secret shows he also knew she was cheating. And she's bashing you to her friend while cheating. There's no question, man, break up with her. Kick her out of the house and just thank God that you found out who she really is before you made it official. Yeah, I mean, nothing happened isn't what I'm concerned about here. Even if nothing physical happened, she went on a secret date. An actual real date that even Chris knew was a secret. That means there is something there she's looking for that she isn't getting from the relationship. Whether it be communication, affection, adventure, whatever makes people emotionally cheat. Keep her in this spare bedroom. That is the smartest decision she made in all this, moving herself there. Obviously, you need to consult an attorney. Do you have any shared accounts? What would look best for family court when going in for custody, letting her stay with you, or giving her notice to vacate the property? These are all questions that a family lawyer can answer and walk you through. Find the best one that you can trust. A list of questions you might want to ask him. Anything about shared financial accounts. Custody with the kids, what is realistic to fight for and what should you aim for? What evidence might be good to gather for custody case? What would the judge care about? What are the eviction laws in your state for a shared tenancy? As said above, what would look best to a judge in terms of her living with you or not? If you do evict before the custody case, what does that mean for where the kids would live? Is there any chance you'd qualify as common law? Do you have to worry about paying alimony or anything? A list of other things you should do. Change all the passwords on your accounts. Might be a good time to get a password manager if you haven't before. Remove her as a user who can access whatever accounts, cable, car insurance, anything. If any of the household bills are in her name, cable, trash, whatever, call the company and have them switched over to yours. Inform people that you trust and ask them to keep an eye on her socials for anything that might be important to custody case, while at the same time blocking her on your socials so you don't have to deal with that. Get an STD panel. There's probably more I haven't thought of, but hopefully this gets you started if you want to. Good luck, and I am sorry this happened to you.